Hi, everyone.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? How are you?
I'm so excited to see so many people here. Yes,
I know we have a lot of chat going on, pre-show chat, which is always cool.
it is. I love that.
Happy Wednesday night to everybody. Anne, it must be cool at your home.
It is. It's like we were sitting, we had dinner outside, but I have heaters on the patio just for me, and they were on, both of them. But it's like 58 degrees.
Okay.
So it's chilly inside my house too. I mean, I've had like 5 shirts on today. I have a t-shirt and I have a sweatshirt and that.
Yeah. I just wanted something warm. So I have some peppermint tea and just sitting relaxing. You know, I love Wednesday nights when we can slow down a little bit, meet with our creative girlfriends, find out what everybody's doing in their creative world, and invite you on. Whoever wants to join us tonight, we'll have time for you to share whatever project that you're working on. We have a great guest, Deb Floros, is joining us tonight, and it's another wonderful Wednesday night.
It is. We're so excited. I mean, thank you all for joining us. We love Wednesday nights and we love seeing what you create. So I think right now I'll put a link in. So anybody that wants to come on can do that or think about it, grab your stuff to share. And yeah, it'll be fun.
There it is. So I watched part of your show today, this afternoon. Tell us about who your guest was.
So I interviewed Sarah James from Jesse James Beads, and I learned stuff because I didn't know they had the button company too. So I was all excited about that because I love buttons. I love buttons so much. I mean, I showed on my show. So like I have jars and jars of buttons, but then I have tins of buttons that were my grandmother's.
Yeah.
Because I let my grandkids play with my buttons and use my buttons.
Mm-hmm.
The tins, no, because they're grandma's buttons.
How cool that you have those.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I am fortunate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Christine, thank you.
For any of our wonderful girlfriends who thought we were going to do what night, not tonight, we are not. So Anne has so much going on in her world right now. I checked in with her yesterday and I said, okay, we're going to, do you have the list and all of that? And she took a pause and I said, we can wait. It can wait.
Thank you.
There is not an auction tonight. And
I'm sorry.
We'll keep, if everyone understood everything that's going on in your life, there would be no question. So there is no question.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it will be coming. And I think that just means that she's going to end up adding more items to the auction because she'll have more time to get it all ready.
I will. Totally. Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Like Karen says, it's okay. It's okay. So I've been trying to do some crafting this week and nothing's working for me. I'm working on
nothing's working
for fall and nothing's working. I did go out and get some fall leaves that are beautifully falling from the trees and I spray painted them, but it's just not doing it for me. So where does everybody go to get their inspiration? When something isn't working for you, let's talk about that in the chat. Where do you go to switch gears in your head to go from to I got it? I want to know what everybody goes through, what the steps are, because there are sometimes that projects just unfold so easily and others where I look at it. So these have been sitting here for days and I've kind of pushed them around the table in different configurations and nothing is talking to me.
So I want to know what's not working.
It has no energy to it. There's just not, it's flat. So I don't decorate for the holidays anyway. And so this project is because I've been asked to do it. And so especially for fall, or I'm doing for Thanksgiving, it worked when I like the pumpkins that I did for my Halloween project. Those worked right off the bat. And but this project, I always like to say, well, how would I use this? Of course. And so I'll get there, and I have some time, and I'm hoping, because I was going to try and finish out all my projects for now.
I know.
Through the end of the year. I am wondering if that doesn't work for me, if I need the pressure of coming more under a deadline.
I work the best under a deadline. Yeah. I mean, I wish I didn't. I wish I was the type of person that a month ahead of time, everything was done. But under pressure, I do my best work.
I'm kind of thinking that may be me, and I didn't think that was me. So.
I wish it wasn't me. And I watch my grandkids and my kids, and I keep thinking, don't do that. Don't do that. But some of them are like me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and like Lisa says, that's true. Some days are better than others. So it'll be fun to actually share with everyone what I finally make. And again, sometimes I just go in all different directions. And when I start with maybe something that is not anywhere close to what my finished project's going to be.
See, we can see in our heads what we're going to do. And then we start and we pivot. And it goes in this direction.
Yeah.
And then miraculously, they turn out fine. But still, I mean, we go through a lot of winding roads sometimes.
Yes. And so that is definitely the creative process.
It is.
So what is everybody working on tonight? What are the crafts that everyone of our friends who are here tonight, what are you crafting?
Christine says her friends and family give her ideas. I love that.
Oh, I like that too.
Because mine don't.
I was going to say, I don't bounce my ideas off of anybody else. So I noticed that Karen said earlier in the chat that she's been crafting UV resin with the zinc purple ink I got from Rita Bearcat's kit from 3 years ago when I was in the BellaCon event.
With the
Is there something called zinc purple ink? UV resin from Rita Bearcat?
Okay, UV resin with zinc purple ink. I got, from Rita. Okay, yeah, Rita had stuff in her kit. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
All right. So, Karen, at some point,
we would love to see what you made with that, because Rita would love to see what you made with that. Yes. iZinc. That's a European company. I have a couple of their things because I bought Rita's kit too. I haven't used it yet.
And last week we talked about this. Like, I will go online and I will purchase a course to take, and it's typically painting because I really want to do more. I love canvases, and so I want to learn different techniques. As a general crafter, I never got into art painting. I remember though, my mom and I, again, this always amazes me because my mom was so busy. This would have been in the 70s. I'm going to say early 70s. My mom and I took an art class that was at a local grocery store upstairs in one of their rooms. And we learned how to do palette painting, and we painted daisies. And I kept my painting for many, many years. I don't know at what point that it ended up being put aside and never made it through my moves. And my mom kept hers for a long time. And I'm sorry to say that neither of us have them. But I've always been intrigued with the different painting techniques. So when I get a breather, have no idea when that's going to be, I'm going to jump in and take a look at some of the painting courses that I have purchased that I can still take.
Right. I mean, and I keep buying things because, well, for one, I love to support my creative girlfriends. So I buy their courses or I buy classes. But yeah, have I taken any of them? No. But they're there. So I have a question for you. Did your mom ever teach in Florida in the, I want to say late 70s, early 80s.
I'm going to guess yes. The only reason we would have traveled to Florida is because she would have had a distributor there. And so probably.
Because my mother has always told me, I mean, all these years, she said, I took a class from Malene Jackson, and it was this class, and it was here at, I mean, it was, my parents used to travel to Florida for my father's health, and they stayed at the beach. And there was a place where my mom took workshops, and she said Aline was there and she taught her. And I was always like, are you sure, Mom?
Yeah.
And she's like, I know who she is. I know.
Yeah, we definitely traveled a lot with Mom. That was when you could take your kids out of school. So all 5 of the kids would get in the station wagon with my mom and dad, and she would just drive us to her different appointments across the country. So I see Brenda says she's prepping for classes for next week, base coating for a folk art class, and trying to paint a pin for an exchange with Painting World magazine. Also
Cool.
playing some mixed media. Wow, that's awesome. And Karen is experimenting with mica powder tonight, and it kind of flopped. So liquid pigment works better, or alcohol ink. Yeah, and I've heard that from several people who, I think, for me, I try to use mica powder in different ways than probably what it was initially designed for. So now I'm working on a project with hot glue where I want to try some other pigments to see how it works on the hot glue. So, but again, I just love to see how everybody experiments with the different materials.
I think experimenting is the funnest part.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to take those products in a way that it's not intended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Love that. Do you have a project that you want to share tonight?
I do have a project I'm going to share. The very end of it, it's the sound is very light. I have to fix that, but I'm still going to share the video with you guys.
Okay.
So
if anybody has questions in that part of it, we're here to answer.
Yeah. So this is a fun project I did for myself this week. I don't often craft for my home. My husband will often say, "Where's that going? Where's that going?" I'm like, "Oh," But this project I actually made for a picture my husband bought me that goes above my bed, and I've been looking for something to go on either side of it, and I love this project. So I'm going to share it and see what today I'm going to share with you how to create these gorgeous mason jars that have fairy lights, flowers, and they're accented with real leather. To get started, you're going to want to gather your supplies. I chose some suede split leather, some real leather craft lace, and you will need some mason jars, some knobs. I took and used scraps of wood that I weathered, some E6000 glue, a scissors, and a ruler and a marker. So you're going to start out by marking your leather with one of the real leather markers and a ruler, 3/4 of an inch. For my pieces of wood, it's 3/4 of an inch wide. So that's what I did. And then you're going to simply cut these out. Now I'm cutting 3 strips because I'm going to cover all sides of the wood and make a hanger. This way I will have plenty of leather. Now I have my 3 leather strips cut, and I'm going to adhere them to my wood pieces. I have already gotten a hole put in here because I'm going to place a knob on there to hold the mason jar. But for the leather, I'm going to cut a piece and glue it to the top. And then I'm going to start at the bottom in the middle and come around with one of the leather pieces along the bottom, up one side. It will meet the leather on the top, and then I'm going to create a hanger, come down the other side, and adhere it to the bottom. After I had it glued on, I decided it would be good to put a couple nails on the sides and at the bottom to make sure it's super secure to be hanging from a wall. Now that your leather is secure, you are going to place your knob right on to your wood piece. Like that. I'm going to take a couple mason jars, wrap wire around them and make a handle and push it a little bit toward the back so they'll hang very nicely. And then, so I took the extra leather, wrapped it around the wire on the rim, and took some of the craft lace and created a bow to finish off the mason jars. Now I will add some fairy lights and flowers and show you the end results. Turned out so beautiful, and they are just the perfect accent on this wall. Until next time, have fun and be creative. So the end of that video isn't very good. I have to fix that. But here is the jars. I mean, they're so cute. And I just wrapped the leather around the top edge and added the craft lace. I put some flowers in it, and then there's fairy lights. But it looks really cool, even if it's not lit. And here is my weathered wood. I did a separate video for how to create this look, but I put the suede around it, and then that's how it hangs. So this hangs totally like that. It hangs on either side of that gorgeous picture my husband thought reminded him of me. Cowgirl boots. I do love them, but I would say I don't wear them enough.
So cool. And I spied his collection of cowboy hats.
On either side of the bed, we have hangers with our cowboy hats. Yes.
So cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. What a great project. And here's what I'd love to see, all the different techniques that you had in it. Because you had the weathered wood, you showed how to glue and nail the leather on, and you call the other one craft lace, but that's leather, right?
Well, it is, but it is called craft lace for Silver Creek. So it is just this thin lace, and it comes on a spool, and you can do anything with it. I didn't show on here, but a couple months ago, I made a hat band for one of my cowboy hats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool. I didn't know you were a cowgirl.
I'm a cowgirl, and I am a biker girl.
I am learning so much more about you.
I know. I love the motorcycle, yeah.
Cool. Well, we're going to go ahead and invite our special guest into the show. Hey, Deb. Welcome.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
So good to see you tonight.
Good to see you, and good to see all the crafters out there.
And you are creating with bangle bracelets tonight. And we're just going to let you jump in. We're going to put you to full screen, and you introduce yourself and have fun showing us your project.
Okay, will do. Hi, everyone. My name is Deb Floros. I am a jewelry designer, a jewelry making educator, and I think I'm a cool crafter. I love to make jewelry. It is my passion. And I was here about a month ago, and I described that I have a certain affinity for trying to save jewelry from the landfill. So many of us, find ourselves going through our jewelry boxes and maybe casting some things aside. And a lot of folks actually cast that stuff aside, and it ends up at garage sales and Goodwill and all of those kinds of places. And I find myself trying to save all of those things. So what I like to do is take those things and make them into something new. And one thing I'm pretty sure of, I bet most of you probably have some of these. These are those little bangle bracelets. They're in just about every color of metal that is known to man, every shade of metal, and they're different textures. I have a virtual hoard of these because I've saved so many of them, but I bet you have 1 or 2 or 12 or 20 of them in your jewelry box, or maybe in the back of the drawer somewhere. So I'm encouraging you tonight to take these and create them, make them into something else. So I thought what we would do is do a little wire wrapping around these bangles. I'm going to flip down. I'm going to switch the camera off while I do that. You'll still be able to hear me. And I'm going to take you down to my mat, and you'll be able to see some examples of what I've created with these things. So here's all of those bangles. Lots and lots of pretty little bangles. They're pretty on their own, but if you don't want to wear them like that, guess what? You can do all kinds of fun things with them. You can wire wrap beads onto these beautiful bangle bracelets. So this is the one that started it all. And this is a bunch of chip beads. They're like little pieces of faux turquoise, and I've got a copper bangle, and I've got a copper southwestern charm on this. So it went from something that looked like this to this. And I love that this is just a very organic look. You can do a very rough wire wrap. I've also got some little seed beads in there as well, but super duper easy to make. I'll show you just a couple other examples. This is one that I taught at Bead Fest in Lancaster, Pennsylvania last year with the Art Beads team. And this one was really fun. This was on a brand new bangle, but I thought I would show that as a sample as well. And then this one I thought was really cool. So I used some cube beads for this one, cube beads and some seed beads. And then I think this might be my favorite. This one is like tube beads, like some little cylindrical tube beads with some seed beads. And this one has much more precise wrapping than this one. So I think this is a very, very beginner friendly project. And if you're not a jewelry crafter, this is something that I think is pretty easy to do. I'll just give you just a few other examples. This one, I didn't wrap all the way around, but this bangle was textured. So I thought, you could just embellish half of it if you'd like. So I've got these fun metal beads, some larger seed beads, and also some wrapping around that bangle. This one's fun, just some colorful round beads, some bright silver wire, and then I added some little dangles at the end of on one part of the bracelet. So that was fun. This one, just another sample. These are little small cylindrical beads, and then I added a little beaded dangle here. This bracelet is actually, maybe you guys even have one of these. So one of these kind of slide bracelets. It also works for those. And I did just a little bit of wrapping on this one, not all the way around because you need your slide bracelet to be able to slide. But I also created some little dangles to hang down in the slide area. So just some little freshwater pearls there. Here's one that was partially wrapped with some seed beads and some stone beads. And then this is kind of a toned down version of this one, just with some beads, less wrapping, some seed beads, and I left an open section at the bottom. So just giving you some examples of how this can look, what you can possibly do with this technique. And all you need, first of all, is a bangle. So here I've got this one. So this is out of my stash. And I like one that's got a flat edge to it, especially if you're just getting started with this technique. So if you're not a wire wrapper, don't have experience with that, it's better to have something that's got a flat edge and maybe even with some texture. So you need a bangle, and you want to make sure that it's kind of sturdy. Some of these can be a little bit flimsy. I don't recommend the really, really thin aluminum ones. So if you've got one that kind of passes the test of, it's got some strength to it, it's going to hold its shape, I recommend working with one of those. So you'll need a bangle and you'll need some wire. So I prefer to work with artistic wire. This is a wonderful craft wire by the folks at Beetlon, and I prefer a 24 gauge. That's a nice, easy gauge wire to wrap with, especially if you're a beginner and especially if you're doing lots of wraps. So this is a thin gauge. It does have a tendency to get a little bit kinked if you don't take your time. If you get going a little bit too fast, you can kink the wire. But there's ways to solve for that as you go. So I've got some silver, I've got some gold, I've got options. You can get wire in all kinds of colors. You'll need a tool that cuts the wire. And you'll need a chain nose plier or some kind of pliers where you can kind of tuck wire down towards the bangle. And I can show you that. It also works to help kind of cinch up the wire if, as a beginner, and even if you've done it many times, sometimes you need to cinch your little wraps a little bit to make sure that they're in place. So I'm going to show you how to start one, and then I'm going to show you how to finish one because we don't have enough time to make the entire piece. So I'm going to show you, it's hard to give you an exact amount of wire that you will need for a project like this because it will depend on the size of the bangle. It will depend on the size of the beads. But you can add wire. So even if you don't have enough wire to finish, you can add wire as you go. And the more wire that you work with, the harder it is to wrangle that wire. So if you've got a lot of wire, it's going to be tough to kind of wrangle it all together. So I cut probably about 1.5 feet to get us started here. This is to give you the perspective on how to start something like this. So I've got about 1.5 inches of wire. Maybe I'll go about 2 inches, and I'm going to place that over the top of my bangle. And what I'm going to do is push the shorter end of the wire around the bangle. And this is tough to see because everything's silver here. But I'm going to take and I'm going to wrap the shorter end around like 4 times. And I'm not gonna care if this is perfect. I just want it to be a nice, good wrap to get us started. That's more than 4 times. And I'm going to come in with my pliers, and I just want to tuck in that little excess piece of wire. So I'm going to grab that with my pliers, and I'm just going to kind of squish that down so that it's not poking in, it's not poking your arm, and it's not going to snag on anything that you're wearing. So now I've got this longer piece of wire. I'm going to come in with some beads here. So I've got a couple different beads. I've got these beautiful green fire polish beads. These are really cool beads, nice and faceted, a nice bright color. And then I thought we would also add some seed beads. And these are like what size are these? These are these are a 6/0, I think. Yeah, these are a 6/0 seed bead. So that's what we're going to work with, and we're just going to alternate them. So I'll show you how I do it. So I take my bead and I let it drop down to where the wire is on this bangle. And what I want to do is I want to take that bead and hold it with my thumb and forefinger, and I want it to sit on top of that flat side of my bangle. Now, if it is a rounded side, you can also do the same thing. You're just going to probably hold on a little bit tighter because the flatter surface is going to help keep that bead in place. So I'm then going to push the wire down and around. And what I want to achieve is wraps on the other side of the bead. So we started with some wraps around the bangle, added our bead, and then we're going to secure the bead with wraps on the other side. And that bead might kind of go up a little bit. I kind of like that look. I think that's fun. So that's what we've got. We've got wraps on either side. And now you can alternate with beads. So you could do all green beads around. You can pick your beads. That's kind of the fun part, is picking the beads you're going to use. And I'm going to take 3 of those seed beads that I've got. And this is going to be interesting because it will add not just something different here, but it will add some texture, because those seed beads, which I'm holding on to for dear life, I'm going to hold on to those and wrap around again. So I'm just creating some wraps, and I'm trying to intentionally do messy wraps here. And so look, we've now got this fun little texture of the silver beads next to it. So it's just, wrap, 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 add a bead, let that bead drop down, hold on to that bead, and then push that wire down, and you're going to go through that bangle. Now remember, if you're working with more wire, this wire can get kind of kinked up and, get kind of wieldy, I guess, is unwieldy is the term. Just take your time. I've got less wire because we're just doing this to show how to get started. I love how that looks. Just really fun, colorful texture. And, the options are endless. The bangles will create something different. The color of the wire will create something different. The bead you choose will create something different. So the sky's the limit. You can do so many fun things with this. Let's add 3 more of these fun seed beads, which are super shiny and super silver. So I'm going to take those. I'm going to hold on to them up there on top of that bangle. And I'm going to do those wraps, those messy wraps. And I kind of like the messy wraps because there's no pressure. Like, there's no pressure for you to make them perfect. But as you go on and you get comfortable with wrapping wire and doing wire wraps around something, you might aspire to start to make your wraps a little bit, a little bit more refined and a little bit more, more perfect. I like the no pressure kind of wrapping. So I'm going to stop there because I'm going to show you another example and show you how to finish it. But look at that. Just a really fun, and you could stop right here. You could say, this is my accent on my bangle. This is all I'm going to add. It's fun, pretty. You can go halfway down the bangle. You can go all the way down the bangle. And I mean, just again, the options are endless. But let's take a look at one that I've got almost finished so you can see how to wrap it up. And oh my goodness, I love these beads. Being a jewelry maker, I am like a bead fanatic. So these beads are a really cool check glass bead. They're in a color, a hyacinth color that have like an AB finish on them. So I picked out this kind of brassy little bangle bracelet. And this one's kind of chunkier, a little heftier than some. And this one, I really went for more of a perfect wrap, although they are still not perfect. Don't look too close. So I'm almost done, and I've got just, probably just enough wire to finish up. And I'm going to do the same thing that we were doing with that first one. I'm going to put a bead on, and I'm going to let it drop down, and I'm going to hold it onto my bangle. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And when you're wrapping, you want to get really close to where that wire is coming down through that bead. So you want it to kind of, be a point where it's making a full attachment and it's, it's holding that bead in place. So super easy to do. And I find I can probably make about 2 or 3 of these in an hour. And I find it very relaxing. So if you just want a fun, easy jewelry project and one that maybe helps you save a piece of jewelry from going in the trash can, this is a great project for that. So sit and listen to an audiobook, or half watch a Netflix show or something like that while you create this piece. So just gonna drop that bead up there. I'm gonna do my wraps, and I'm trying to get them to be somewhat perfect. And here I've got just enough space to do one more if I want to try and kind of fit it in there, but I'm not going to because I'm comfortable with there being an open space there, and it's just a tiny open space. But I've got my wire here coming through the center of the bangle, and I'm going to take my cutters. I'm going to snip off this excess wire if it will let me. It doesn't want to go. So we've got that, and then I'm going to come in with my pliers, and I just want to tuck in that little excess piece of wire. So if I can get it on camera, sorry about that. So I want to take it and kind of push it up and around the bangle. So you can kind of manipulate the wire a little bit and make sure that it's tucked in. Now, a trick for you, if you find that when you start your wraps, why don't I show you over here with this piece? So if you find that your wraps are maybe a little bit too far apart, so if you're trying to get them to be close together, you can take your pliers and you can actually kind of squish, that's a really technical term, squish your wire together, and you can cinch that wire up a little bit. So you would just take your pliers and ever so gently kind of press those wires together. And even after you've done some wrapping, you may still be able to push these beads together just a little bit. So if you find that one is a little out of whack, you still can kind of manipulate this a little bit. But as you start to put your piece together, it will really start to hold its shape, and everything will kind of hold the next one together. So you've got just a really fun piece. And if you wanted to add a charm, you have a little bit of an extra space where you finished off. So we've got that little extra space. You can take a charm. I didn't pull out any gold charms, but I've got this pretty little silver charm. And what I like to do is, I know I've got another pair of pliers here. So I take another pair of pliers, and I get a fairly large jump ring because I like the idea of this having a little bit of room to move. So I'm going to put my charm onto my jump ring, and then I can take that jump ring and slide it right in between those last two beads, and then grab that jump ring, close that up. So you want to get your jump ring to be kind of tight there. And then you could add more charms. You could add wrapped beads. I showed you this one here. This one has some cute little wrapped beads at the end. This one has a little foursome of beads that were just wire wrapped around. So you just have yet another element that you can, customize for yourself. So if you want a little extra charm, you can do that. If you don't want an extra charm, then you've just got this beautiful beaded bangle bracelet. And I just think a bangle is great. And if you have a whole stack of them, that's even better. And one more idea for you. I didn't bring it in here with me, but you can get one of those large, keychain fobs, and you can attach it to this, and you can make this into a clutch handle. So you can take this and you can attach it to a clutch with a finding, and then this becomes a handle that you can wear around your wrist, and you've got your way to hold on to your bag. I could probably, I have a picture of one that I did before that I can pop into the group and share with everybody, because that's a fun way to use this technique as well. So if you've got these bangles, friends, get them out of your jewelry box, dust them off, get yourself some beads, get yourself some wire. You don't need fancy tools. Get the inexpensive tools if you don't have them, and just sit down and come up with a fun creation to make yourself a recycled or upcycled beaded bangle bracelet. What do you think? You like it?
That is so cool.
I'm going to switch up for a second, ladies.
I love them. I think what I liked best was when you said no pressure.
Yeah.
Just have fun. And I think the bangled bracelets you can find at thrift stores. I have several from when my girls were teenagers because I keep everything. My kids always say, sometimes they say, "Thank you, Mom." And sometimes they say, "You still have that?" But those are perfect.
Yeah, they're just an easy way to use something that you have. So, you want to learn how to make jewelry. Wire wrapping is a technique, jewelry making technique that is kind of one of the core things that you would learn if you want to make earrings or make, beaded chain or something like that. So this is a real great way to get familiar with wire and to just start playing around with beads. And you're going to not really use a lot of materials, and you're going to save something from going to the landfill. I mean, there's just so many good things about this project. I thoroughly love making these. They're so much fun.
So here's the notes that I make. I loved when you talked about how relaxing it was to do this. Like you said, put on an audio book and craft to it. Loved that. I love how you can customize the colors.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take a lot of beads in order to create some really strong statement pieces.
Yeah.
And because they're so thin, you can wear like 6 of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
At once.
And you should.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
I love it.
So cool. And I loved, it took me a long time when I was first doing jewelry crafting. I didn't know how to open up jump rings. So love that you showed how to use the 2 pliers and how to open up, because I did this. And that compromises them. You need to do the side to side. I want you to stay with us, and I see Lenine is waiting. So we're going to bring her in, and you stay put. And
Okay.
Hey, Lenine.
Well, hi. And I got inspired to share today by her jewelry because I have these that are made with memory wire. I'm wearing several of them here.
I have memory
quite
wire.
a few of them. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I could make those with so few beads compared to these.
Yes.
But I love these because it's all of that all on one wire. And I can wear like a cuff at a time. But anyway, I'm thinking, I got to try that now.
Memory wire is fun too. I love working with memory wire.
I love that you were able to find those, Lenine.
I wear them all the time. Because they're fun in the store.
They are.
And I have like this one's 4th of July.
I love that.
And then I have this one for Christmas.
Aw.
And then I have, when I wear my turquoise ocean mermaid stuff, I have this one. And then this one is one of my spring ones because I wear a lot of things that have purple in them in the spring. So yeah, I have different times of years. And then I'll wear a couple together, like these 2 look great together.
Oh yeah.
Or these 2. These look great together too.
That's fantastic.
So much fun.
It is. It's blast.
I love it.
thank you so much for sharing that.
You're
Lenine.
welcome. And thank you for sharing your bracelets. Oh my gosh, those are beautiful.
Welcome. They're fun. I hope you'll try them.
I need to. I need to go find some bangles though first.
So before you go, Lenine, I see that Karen is asking, any Mary Poppins bracelets?
Not yet, but maybe I will.
Okay.
Red and black and white. I do have a lot of Mary Poppins things here though right now, like little hats, a knitted hat, stuff like that. Some that I made and some that were gifted. Yeah.
Well, apparently Karen knows that because she goes LOLOL.
I love that. Thank you, Lenine.
You're welcome. You have a good day. Have a good
Thank you.
evening.
Hi, Lenine.
So, Deb, I also noticed that Rosalinda is suggesting using sari silk and beads to wrap around the bracelets.
Oh,
Absolutely. That's that's just yet another way to use these many bracelets that I'm sure you all are going to find. You're going to start digging for them. You're going to find them, and you can do all kinds of things with this. You just need a little bit of imagination, a few beads and some wire, and you can go to town. I love sari silk too. That is a fun product to work with for jewelry making, and that's definitely one application that would really work well with these bangles.
So I shared your Linktree link. What will all of our audience and girlfriends find at your Linktree?
Oh, goodness. Well, they'll find my Facebook page. They'll find my Instagram page, my TikTok page, my YouTube channel, which is still kind of a growing channel. I'm working on, projects, but I always have these aspirations of creating so many YouTube videos in a month, and it just never is as many as I'd like. And they'll also find a link to my designer page at artbeads.com. I'm on the design team there, and I've done lots of content for them, as well as I do a weekly live show for them where I create jewelry for them and sell their products. So
Nice.
I'm in all those places. So I would love for people to come find me in those places and check out my content, and tell me the kinds of things you'd like to see if you don't see something that you like there.
What I love in watching you is you make it look, not even making it look easy. You're so good with your demonstration that it gives me confidence to go, I feel like I could do that. And so I can tell how skilled you are with and love what you're doing.
It is a passion for sure. I started making jewelry, I think it's been 17 years now. I always have to kind of like go do the math, and I'm not good at math, but I have to go back and figure out how long has it been. And, you know, I still feel like I'm a beginner with so many different techniques, but other techniques are just things that I've practiced because I love it. And, you know, I just always encourage people just to try something. Like, don't say, oh, I can't do that. Or is it possible to do this? Just try it and just practice it, because some techniques do take some practice, but you'll love doing it. So it's not like it's going to feel laborious to sit around and practice. It's making something and doing something that's enjoyable and relaxing. And I feel like that's always kind of the way that I've done it. And it's a true passion. I can't help myself. All of my comments and my silliness is just because I just love this. I love making things.
It's good. It shows.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I love that. And I think whenever you're doing something, even if it's not perfect, you're learning. So, you know, you can take it apart, you can do whatever, but it's all a process, and you made it look so easy.
Well, I bet if people try this, they're going to have some that they think look messy, but you say, I want it to look messy, like it's supposed to look messy. So it's intentional to be messy, and you work towards what you want it to look like. The more perfect wrapping and the more, you know, perfect everything about a piece, it takes time, but you can celebrate the ones that look messy until they look the other way. I still love the messy one I first made. It's probably my favorite one. So yeah, you just have to celebrate each success and each little step along the way, and just enjoy it. Just have fun. That's what this is all about.
That's perfect.
My question for you, as we're going to start wrapping up here in about 5 minutes, is obviously, you know, the beadwork and the jewelry work is your passion and your first choice in creating. But are there other crafts that you do? Like, you watch all the things that we share with other crafts. Do you do other crafts?
I have, and I do, but I don't do them as often as I used to. One of my favorite things to do is decoupage.
Oh, yeah.
I love decoupage. That is so much fun.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think a lot of people got interested in decoupage because it seemed like you could get really good results no matter if you were a beginner or not. And I know that's my past experience. To begin with, it was like some of the papers would crinkle and bubble and do weird things, but decoupage has really advanced over the years, and it's a beautiful craft. So that's good to know.
Yeah, I intended when I started selling jewelry that I was going to make decoupage jewelry boxes for every piece of jewelry that I sold. Well, that was way too ambitious to do, but I have given you know, gifts to friends and family members in a decoupage box that was specifically made for them, and I haven't made one in a really long time. I think I need to get my decoupage stuff out and make something again.
And so I do have to respond to the comment you made when you first started doing your demo when you said, I think I'm a cool crafter. I say, yes, you are a cool crafter.
Thank you.
I do believe so.
I think all of us are, even if we're beginners, we're still cool crafters.
Exactly. And, you know, it's so important for us to share our love of crafting with others because we want to bring in new crafters of our generation and other generations to create. There's just something about it that is so incredibly rewarding.
Yeah. It's like that feeling of I finished something, I did something, I made something. There's some real joy in that for sure.
Well, thank you for inspiring us again. I know we have you signed up for several more visits between now and the end of the year.
We love that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to come back. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
We loved your project.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
So, yeah, Deb, stick around and any other information that we want to share before we head on out tonight?
Only if you guys want to check out my live I did today with Sarah James from Jessie James Beads. And it was a very...
You gave a shout out to Deb.
She did. She did. Because Deb is one of her designers.
Yeah.
And Jessie James Beads, they have so many fabulous beads. And they always sponsor BellaCon. So if you want to check that out, you can check out our YouTube channel at Bella Crafts Publishing. Bella Crafts Pub, I think, on YouTube. But check that live out because Sarah is so sweet and so sincere. And just, I love companies that are family owned. And, they have that whole history. It's just such a joy to bring them to the spotlight.
And I'm putting in the link to our Facebook group. We just changed it to private. It's a private group. And so we like to share things that are going on during the week. I'll do some shout outs on that page. We share what we are crafting. So there's the link to the private Facebook group.
Yes, and Lenine is right. We need to bring younger generations to learn the joy and art of crafting or creating. Yeah. It's true. I believe that with every fiber of my being that we need to teach the young people.
It's our honor and our responsibility.
Totally.
Well, good. Well, we're going to go ahead and say goodnight to everyone tonight. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday night, and we'll keep you posted in our Facebook group when Anne's going to be ready to do her whatnot auction.
Give me a little time, but it'll happen.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.